which means a new winterization video. Same as last time, the Airstream manual has the information step by step. We won't make you read it. We'll go through it for you. And we are armed with antifreeze and a hose to be able to empty out the water tank. This is a pretty simple process. It doesn't take very long. The majority of the work is going to be done cleaning out the lines and hoses for the water system. Everything else is just kind of shutting down the trailer and making sure it's closed in and set for the winter. First things first, make sure the camper is level. And then we're going to come on, we have our solar on. We are going to turn on the tank pump. And then we're also going to check the gray and black tanks to make sure that they are empty, which they are, because we did empty them before we parked last time. We're going to go ahead and empty the water lines by opening the drain valves. So we're going to make sure there's nothing in the water tanks by opening the drain valve. I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes, drain everything out. We're lucky in this trailer we have multiple drain valves and they're not easy to get to. So we're going to open these as well. Flush out the system. Just a tip, our water levels were reading at 0, but obviously there's a little bit of residual water in the tank, so you want to make sure you do this. Otherwise, you can freeze your tanks, even though you have a little bit of antifreeze in them. So you want to make sure they're completely empty before you start the antifreeze process.
They're empty. You want to turn the pump off?
Oh, all right. Now that all the water is drained out of the system, we're going to push the antifreeze through the system. We have a 2023 27-foot front bed Flying Cloud. Our water pump is down below the wardrobe. So to access it, I open the wardrobe and these actually kind of pop out. You have to use a little bit of force. There's a card in ours, so it's already set up to run antifreeze through the system. The white valve, which is connected to the clear hose is connected to, is right here. So for normal use, it's in line with the pipe. For winterization, you turn it perpendicular to the pipe, but in line with the clear hose. And this allows you to bypass the hot water heater and everything. So this is all set up. In our base camp it wasn't, and the hose is all ready for you to stick it into the antifreeze. So we have our antifreeze bottle. This is rated for RVs and boats. This is very important because this will go into your drinking water tank. Do not use antifreeze made for automobiles. Make sure it's rated for RVs and boats. I'm gonna put the hose into the bottle. And we will start flushing out the different lines. So we're going to start off with the kitchen sink. Turn my water pump on, and we're going to let it run until we start seeing the antifreeze run through. Now that you can see it's pink, you do want a little bit to get into the tank, so I'm going to let it run in. And then we'll close this off. So now antifreeze is in all the systems, including the pipes leading up to the sink and then in the sink drain as well. Next, we'll do the same thing for the shower. The shower is running pink, so we're going to turn it off. You do want to go ahead and let it drain in the shower drain, but then we'll need to wipe this off because antifreeze will stain the bottom of your shower. So we'll make sure once we finish the toilet and the sink in here, we'll come back and wipe everything down just to make sure there's no staining from the antifreeze. Another tight space. Do the sink. That was really quick. Finally, the toilet. I'm gonna let this one go a little bit. And then it's important for the toilet to make sure you do leave some in here so that the seals don't freeze when they're sitting over the winter. And then you want to leave enough so that if any of it does kind of drip out or evaporate, that there's still some there whenever the winter is over and you're ready to de-winterize the camper. As you can tell, that really quickly went through an entire bottle of antifreeze. You might want to do 2 bottles if you want to pour more in. We have a good amount in all of the systems, so I think we're okay. The next thing, we'll remove this hose and then tuck it back into this cabinet here. And I am going to leave the pump set on the winterization side so that it's a reminder whenever I do come to de-winterize the camper to go ahead and turn it back so that everything, because there is antifreeze in the system, we don't want any water or anything flowing through the hot water pump. With our last little bit of antifreeze, I'm going to go ahead and just pour it down the sink just to make sure the P-traps and everything have enough in it. We do want to make sure that everything is turned off prior to leaving the camper, so we will turn off the hot water heater, our pump and everything, make sure that is turned off. And we will disconnect the battery from the solar panels just so that they're not constantly recharging throughout the winter. Our disconnect is right here, so we'll push that button when we're heading out the door. I'm just using a Clorox wet wipe, and I'm gonna wipe out the sink and the shower drain just to make sure there's no antifreeze to stain those. And then I'll come back through with a paper towel.
They recommend leaving those open too.
Okay. Now that we've run the antifreeze through the system and shut everything off, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the batteries, and that'll be it. We'll have to lock up.